Hello, chat. How's it going? And welcome to a Titan Talk Monday. I am here, as always, Kilgoon, with a familiar face to some of you.
Hello.
This is Rockey, a.k.a. Josh, a.k.a. Rockey, I don't know, who's one of our lead programmers on the game. So all things technical, he's your man.
I'm a technical boy.
Yeah. So we figured we could talk about some of your technical questions today. We can talk about general things. And just kind of give a quick update on how things are looking. But first off, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Yeah?
We had a very fun playtest.
It was actually a really fun playtest.
It was a great time.
It was like a 40-minute playtest that felt really close and exciting the whole time. So it was good. It was a good one. And a lot of new gods that were in various states of completion. So, but yeah, it's been good. Good playtest. Did you have a good weekend?
I did. It was a relaxing weekend.
Awesome.
Chill. Just chilled out.
Yeah. I also just was very chill this weekend. It was my birthday over the weekend.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you. But I just went out to lunch at local Mexican place with my family, and it was nice. It was good. Yeah. Exactly what I wanted. Sweet. I love the questions that are already coming in. Can you give me a background on the tech behind technical with the technology terms, as well as using technology to show us how the tech works? That is a question right there. Awesome. So we don't really have too much prepped today. This is kind of a chill Monday stream. The one thing I did want to walk people through was just kind of the schedule for the week. So on Wednesday, we're going to be showing off most of the new stuff in the update. We have a new god, Shibalanke. It's going to be coming next. Well, you'll be able to play him on PTS on Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
But actually coming out next week into live. There's potentially a second god preview for PTS, who won't be releasing in the next update.
Very quote unquote,
but a very early version. Remember a while back we did an early version of a god that we put out on PTS and we let people play with. This will be very early, no FX or anything, but assuming everything gets polished up, we may have. You guys know what the next two gods are. So Shibalanke is, we're 100% showing off. Osiris, we're hoping that we'll be able to get into PTS as a rough version. Who is FX is not there.
No, he's very much in the state of this is all experiment with the community to try to figure out how much can we show off to you guys and get feedback on early, because a lot of these gods come down to the wire, especially on the art side of things, because we want to make them look good.
Yeah,
but we're they don't need to look good to play.
Yeah.
So how much can we push that envelope?
And a lot of times we notice weird niche gameplay feels things that it takes a certain dedicated player of that god to really notice. So the thought is, by getting it out into your guys' hands a little bit early, we'll be able to get that feedback and continue to improve. So you'll be able to get some insight into Osiris's +1s and aspect as well on Wednesday, assuming that we're good to go.
And he doesn't destroy everything.
Doesn't destroy everything. We aren't going to be talking about anything after Osiris yet. Don't worry, chat. And then we also, there's a lot of really cool new cosmetics in this update, including our next Saga skin.
Yes, they have gone ham on the skin.
It's pretty crazy. So I'm looking forward to that. And then there's also some new UI features, which I am fingers crossed will get wrapped up and we'll make it into the update. So lots of fun stuff in this update, and hopefully y'all tune in on Wednesday to learn all about it.
For all the secrets.
Yeah, and then play on PTS and let us know how it goes. Sweet. I think that's pretty much our preamble today. Chat, what do you guys want to talk about? What a tease. We get nothing today. Yeah, that's our new schedule. So we talked to you about the stuff the way our development schedule works is final branch is tonight, right?
Yeah.
So until branch, we aren't 100% sure what's going to make the update, right?
Yeah, we have the big features in place. We know the god that's going out. We know most of the skins and cosmetics that are going out. But there's always these balance updates that the designers love to sneak in at the last minute. So that's one of the new conquest features that we were testing today that may end up in the game. So I think that one, I
think it is supposed to ship.
So
yes,
that one.
That one, not the other one. The other one still needs a little bit of work.
We got so many.
So lots of fun stuff coming in this update, but we try to make sure we know exactly what's in the update before we start breaking down the details of it, because otherwise we start talking about stuff and then people are asking us about it for weeks while we're still working on it in the background.
Yes.
So, let's see. So talking in code, we're not trying to be too mysterious, chat. We just have to be the right amount of mysterious.
We're trying to not secretly let stuff out that is going to hit the other teams because they're going to panic.
Yes. Cool. Let's take some questions. First one. I'm going to call this one out first. 10 candy per 4-hour Twitch drops. I've gotten a couple people asking about candy as a Twitch drop.
What is candy?
So for the quest to get a pumpkin, you have to pick up 100 candy in the game. I would say like there's only one pumpkin tied to picking up candy. So I think that people will be able to pick up enough candy, before this event concludes. So we definitely have seen feedback though that like drops could potentially be more interesting.
Yeah.
It's something that we've gotten the feedback about and we're willing to look at. What spaghetti code restriction from Smite 1 do you miss the least?
Spaghetti code restrictions. I mean,
and people like to just say anything that was, spaghetti code is the catch-all for things not working properly.
Things that would jank.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a lot of jank stuff, especially early on in Smite 1's history. Mm-hmm. The earlier you go, the worse it gets. Probably one of the worst ones I saw was a history of Bologna, Xingchen, and some other character all inherited from each other.
Okay.
So I had to go and make a change to one of them. And because they all inherited from each other, everyone got the change. And it was a nightmare.
Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah. And then some of our other gods are just horrendous in code. Like, you try to decipher it, and it's like, we were extreme with code names back in the day in Smite.
We were, because we were trying to prevent...
We were trying to prevent all those data mining leaks.
Yeah. So and, God 46 is...
we got a little bit too creative at times.
We did.
So, like, we would switch between, like, numbers of, like, G86, then God 86, and then Magnolia was one of them for Mulan. And it's just... And then we had NPC Wizard, which was mail-in. But, like, then we also had an actual wizard at one point, and it's, like... It became a nightmare. So that's always the biggest hurdle when trying to delve through Smite 1 code is being like, where does this god live? Is it Alkong or is it Kukulkan?
Nowadays, when you're making a new god, like how much do you go back and look at the Smite 1 code, or is it mostly like trying to
we do pretty significantly usually. Typically what will happen is design will do their first pass and they'll do like the prototyping of the tech of like basic things. We know it's a line attack, throw the projectile, do all that stuff. What we end up looking at is more the nuances of like specific timings and feels issues. So like people will come up and be like, this ability feels like it's too slow or this timing doesn't feel right. Xbalanque had some of those issues where like we just had to go into code and be like, how do we do this in Smite 1 and like where are the timings stored? Because a lot of them, especially with the early characters, are not stored in a place where designers can even see them. They're stored just hard-coded into the C++ files. So we would just go in there and we just start delving around and digging. And in some cases, we actually just look to see how did we do this before so that we can like, sometimes we just copy that same pattern because Smite, 10-plus-year-old game, we did some stuff right.
We did some stuff really right. There was some stuff that we did really wrong, but
Yeah, there's some stuff that was really wrong, but a lot of it still holds up.
Yeah.
So we try to stay consistent.
Awesome. Let's see. Is it... I saw one that was like, is it intended that Uller 1 goes through walls now? I'm not sure. We can run that by design and see what they think about that.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. We play around a lot with that.
This is a good one. How many meetings do we get pulled into per day? Not very
as
many anymore.
We used to be a lot. It used to be half my day, if not more, was meetings. Yeah. Now not as much, but it's usually when a big fire emerges. We forget that we were making this god.
Yeah, I think one of the good parts about being a smaller team now is that like everybody just kind of knows what they're doing and they can just do it, right? And everybody trusts everybody else to just be working on a thing that's important to the game. And, we all kind of know what the top priorities are and kind of power through them.
Yeah, it's usually like big things that like emerge, like that cause huge fires. Like I think 5.5 when we did that.
Yeah, that was a big one.
That was a big one where we were like, oh, this has significant performance problems that we had to decipher really quickly.
Yes. How many, hey, Josh, can you help me with this is? Do you hear Clumsy ask?
I would say it's probably like every 15 minutes. It'll be like, there'll be times where I'm just like a rabbit and I'm just moving from one person to the other. And I have like a deli, like one of those deli tickets that you get. I need one of those for my desk so people can just take a ticket.
Number 43. Number 43. Yeah. Awesome. Can you tell us what you're working on now, or is it stuff that hasn't been announced yet?
I don't know if I can actually.
Okay.
No, I don't think I can.
Okay. Secret.
All of my stuff is secret right now.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not working too much on God stuff at the moment because I typically hop around to wherever I'm needed.
Yeah. So we talked about this a little bit the last time you were on, but how complicated would Chang'a's rabbit be in SMITE 2?
I don't think it's actually as complicated as we think. We're actually doing a lot of investigation work into that system and into the AI system. So Unreal now has these things called state trees, which are like an evolved version of the behavior tree system, which for those that don't know, that's basically like the brain of how all game AI works.
It's kind of like a flow chart, basically.
Yeah, it's basically like a flow chart, but this is like a more versatile flow chart.
Okay.
With AI trees, they're very sequential of going down one branch at a time. This one's a little bit more loosey-goosey. It can flow better. And so I've actually been working with one of our designers, Matt, on it. And we've been playing around with early versions of the bunny, I would say.
Very cool.
Like we're trying to get it up and running, attach it to people, let it follow around. I think the way we will do it is going to be a lot of EQS queries. So like EQS stands for like environmental query system.
Okay.
So it basically allows us to create a point of grid points around the character. And then we can create tests that say, hey, for each of these points, just test this and give us a weighted score.
Okay.
For like, how good is this position to be in? And so we're using that as an experiment, working hopefully eventually towards Calder, where it'll be like, oh, we want you to prioritize positions to the left of the character because we're moving to the left. So you stay out of the way and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's a big part of Calder's AI is just not getting in your way all the time.
Yes,
right?
Yeah, and figuring out how to get them in the way, and like also just trying to experiment around with like, can we get the AI's position a bit better, and like to get to the state tree system, because SMITE 2 was built off of the behavior trees at the time. It involves a lot of us waking our way up there. So like starting with the bunny, then getting to Calder, then getting to like August for Hera, and then doing like map NPCs, and eventually, hopefully, Godbots. Yeah, one day.
Very cool. And we have added a few Godbots relatively recently. It's been maybe
I think Zaneski's been sending some out into the wild. I think Ganesha was a recent addition.
Yeah. Let's see. How hard is Zeus chain lightning to code? Would having it chained to himself be possible for bounces with the way that it's made?
It could probably chain to himself if we wanted it to.
Okay.
Like, there's no reason it can't. We would just probably want to not damage him. But that system it was a challenge at the time because you need to have it move. And the way we do our projectiles is they're all simulated, so they don't typically like to spawn other projectiles from themselves.
Okay.
Because they don't have knowledge of where they come from. So what we did with that is it's actually a actor that we spawn in that we call a deployable. And we had that just move from one to the other, and it leaves a trail behind. And so it gives the illusion that it's a projectile without actually having to be a projectile. And then when we spawn them, we cache off all the gameplay effects that they have, so that way they can remember, like, here's what level I was, here's how much damage I should do. That way, if Zeus dies midway through, it still knows everything it needs to keep moving on with its life.
Very cool. Chat. Changa and Era are not confirmed next. We're just talking about the tech. We're talking about the tech.
We wish.
Are there... I don't think we got this one last time. How hard is Cthulhu to make?
He's an interesting one where, like, I think he is easy in some areas and hard in others. I think the majority of his tech relies on the art team.
Yeah.
Because he's a very big presentation feature, and, like, getting him to feel right and look great art-wise is a lot of work. In terms of, like, most of his stuff, I think the biggest aspect would probably be growing him. Mm-hmm. We have stuff for, like, really tall characters now, like Yorm, to give them new cameras and stuff like that. But actually growing him to the scale that he needs to be, and then I think his 3-dash is also pretty intensive. The way I like to refer to them is they're not necessarily hard to implement, but they get more involved. Mm-hmm. They have a lot of interchangeable mechanics that interact with each other. So his madness interacts with a lot of different elements.
Yeah.
So he's just a very heavy god to do. But I don't think he's not insane on the level of, like, some of our characters.
Yeah. For programming. But for art.
For art, it's very different. Like, the art team loves when I come to them with suggestions of, like, this gotta be really easy. And then they're like, this is awful. Why would you do this to us?
Pompon has a question. He says, what was the most annoying feature I have asked for?
Oh. There's one that he asked me for real recently that I was like, oh, you're testing me. Oh, that's a good one. I think the active item system was an interesting one.
Yeah.
That's probably the one that went through the most iteration we've ever had to do. Because, like, it started off being real simple, and then it got very heavily involved real fast. I think at the time, it actually ended up becoming me, AJ, and our former UI lead, Lino, looking into it, because people had the thing with it where they wanted them to be organized in a certain way, and they love customizing inputs and swapping things around on the HUD. And that caused a lot of issues. Like, I think we had to rework the entire, like, sorting algorithm for the inventory system to allow it to support it. But that was a fun time.
Yeah, a lot of fun there. I saw chat asking about this earlier about giving Cabrakan a gun. I think that, like, everyone
wants these Guardians to have a gun. They want Kuzenbo to have a gun. They want
Khepri to have a gun.
Donzabil has a gun now.
Yeah, everybody needs a gun.
Everyone needs a gun.
Maybe in a I don't know if you know exactly why, but, like, there's a question of, like, how come performance can go down later into the game, and I know we're looking at a lot of, like, optimization stuff in general right now. Maybe you can talk through some of that and anything specific about, like...
Yeah, so performance is one of those things that, like, we are constantly looking at. Like, I think we have a dedicated programmer who just, all they do is just performance. There's a lot of reasons performance gets heavier later towards the game. With game modes like Conquest is typically because more stuff is going on towards the middle of the game and late game. So, like, we'll have more camps spawned in. There'll be more minions on the map sometimes, because typically at that point, most of the team is focused on one lane to push. So that means the other lanes are able to, like, kind of stack up minions a little bit more. Sometimes it's due to, like, Niagara leaks. Like, so most of our Niagara systems, we try to make sure particle systems are getting cleaned up over time.
Niagara's FX.
Niagara is, like, all the visual particle systems that you see in the game. We run a command at the end of every playtest to check, like, the counts of how many of those particle systems are still alive in the world to see if we're leaking. So sometimes that's the cause. Like, I know some of our effects artists had to chase down those cases. But a lot of it comes down to team fights now, mostly, is where we're really hitting the bottlenecks of, like, when you have 10 gods with very heavy VFX abilities all spewing off stuff in the middle of the match, like, right as you're looking at it, it tends to dip performance a lot there. And so that's, like, the area right now that we're looking at, is, like, those bursty sections of performance and trying to narrow down, like,
what's causing those.
Yeah, what's causing those. How can we, like, predict those a bit and, like, smooth them out a little bit more. a lot of times too, it's also just the new gods. New gods haven't been play tested enough with like performance profiling that we can't catch. And so when they go live, sometimes we just find, oh,
this causes this thing
issues
that we didn't see before.
Yeah, like I think Ares has some issues at one point with his spline tethers where he had too many mesh segments, and he had a bug sometimes where he would spawn a spline all the way across the map, and he would freeze everyone's game for like 5 seconds.
Cool. Awesome. How many aspects are we getting this update? I believe one aspect with Xbalanque is from what I recall. And then also
one, yeah.
On PTS, I believe that we're also going to have Osiris aspect play testable, maybe. But that is TBD at this point. But it won't be going to live because Osiris isn't quite done yet. Do you all plan on adding the beacon pack? I would say that we're continuing to experiment with conquest objectives.
Yeah, I think we really liked the beacon.
Yeah.
Like it was one of we've been around for a long time with Conquest, and there's been a lot of mechanics that we've liked and that have performed well. Beacon was one of the few experiments that were like, oh, this did really well.
Pretty universally,
yeah, universally loved. That and the trebuchets.
People like the trebuchets. People like the getting the lotuses and taking them to the 2 lotus banks.
That one I never understood.
Oh yeah, it was a little too complicated. People like the tikis, but I feel like
the totem was really successful.
Yeah, the totem's great.
People love the totem.
Yeah. What's your favorite part about being a programmer?
I like the problem solving aspect. Like you get to like work on the stuff and then see them come to fruition. And like for me recently, it's actually been more. I get to implement the tools, and I get to see how far the designers are able to push stuff, like using those tools. And that's been a really like rewarding feeling. Is like seeing Pawn and Clumsy and all the others just like use these tools and like do full gods without even needing our help has been pretty. It's a good feeling to know that I did something right with these systems, at least.
Will we ever get another god with a slippery surface CC like Scotty has?
I've been thinking about how to do Scotty Ice recently.
Yeah, I mean, even just like that's a more technically challenging ability, right?
Yeah. Typically with like ice sliding abilities like that, I think in Smite 1 how we did was we made a new physics state that basically we just say like you're in fizz sliding.
Okay.
And then we would just force them to go in whatever direction they were going at the time with the speed they had, and then if they hit a wall, it's like bounce them off of it, keep going. That's one we experimented a couple times with Scotty Ice and putting it on not on other gods but on other map mechanics. I think it was like one of those ones we tried to do in an adventure at one point.
Yep. Is the next update focused on veteran players or the new player experience? I don't think we really are planning updates that are specifically like, this is for veteran players, this is for new player experience. Yeah. It's just kind of like, we're trying to do things that make the game better every 2 weeks. And it's, what do we think will make the game most better with the resources that we have available in that period of time, right? Yeah. So like, there will be things that more veteran players will enjoy. There'll be things that more new players may enjoy. But I think that overall, hopefully you just see it as the game's just constantly getting better.
Yeah.
As a programmer, have you ever had any of your own ideas implemented into the game?
The Cerberus stun one.
Oh yeah, that was you.
That was one that I was like in playtest. So I'm like, this ability is so obtuse and so hard to hit. Can we just make it consistent for players?
Yeah. So because in Smite 1 to stun with Cerberus, you had to have all 3 heads alerted, and then you had to hit at the sweet spot at the very end of the spit.
Yeah, and it wasn't even just that. It was like they were 4 actual projectiles being shot out of Cerberus at the time, and all 4 of them had to hit.
Yeah.
But as a player, you only see the one big projectile. Yeah. You don't see any of these like invisible 4 projectiles. So it would just randomly hit or not hit, and it was just confusing. So the pitch I had to the design at the time was like, let's just simplify this down and make it that one center projectile. And then we can find another way to reward for that sweet spot of like if you hit a max range.
So you get more stun duration if you hit the max range, and you get just the micro stun at the shorter range.
Yeah, and finding ways to just like alleviate some of that like frustration point for casual or like new players, but like still rewarding the high end players.
What was the biggest Smite 2 fire so far that had to be extinguished? Probably 5.5, I would say, but maybe there's something else.
5.5 is definitely the most recent one.
Yeah.
That was like a pull all the senior programmers together and pull Alex in and be like, are we even shipping this or are we delaying?
Yeah.
We've had...
5.5 is, sorry, Unreal update 5.5.
Yeah,
so
5.
we updated we were on 5.2, 5.3?
We were on 5.3.
We were on 5.3. And upgrading from 5.3 to 5.5 had a lot of technical issues behind the scenes.
Yeah.
That made it so a lot of performance issues that kind of popped up at the last minute with certain systems that we were able to address, but it took getting everybody together for it.
Yeah. It was a big group effort on like debugging them. We've had some pretty decent fires, but usually they're ones that are hidden in the background that we don't really talk about too much. Like I think we had ones with Smite 1 where it was like Saber had performance issues and like we would go in and take a look at that stuff. I can't think of any with Smite 2 that like I think some of the ones are the ones that you guys will never see.
Yeah.
Like when we did the initial, I think beginning of this year, where we did the push for 50 gods. That was one of the big ones, I think, fire-wise, where it was like it was like a long banning fire where it's like, how do we do like 10 gods at once simultaneously?
Yeah.
And then release them all and not have them destroy everything.
Yeah. And I think it worked out pretty well, actually.
It did. We pulled it off.
Yeah. Is Shibalanke shipping with an aspect, or is it for a god that was in the game previously? Shibalanke is shipping with an aspect.
Yeah, I think we try to ship most of the new gods now with aspects.
Yeah, unless there's some cool idea that just we can't quite get working right. Or...
Yeah, it's always that thing of like we want to make sure the aspect feels good and that we get it feeling right. And so if the character doesn't need it and we don't feel good about it, we won't ship it. Also, sometimes the character is just really hard and it comes in really hot and we're like, we don't have time for this.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's like Giannis is the big one recently that didn't get an aspect with his release.
He came in super, super hard, and we were like, no aspect for you.
Well, and we had an idea of something that was going to be cool, but was just going to take a lot more work to get going. So it's like, rather do that when we have time to do it right.
Yeah.
Have we ever considered deleting Morrigan for being buggy?
Yeah. Where to start with the Morgan?
Where to start?
Like, she's one of those characters that is, I think, unfairly sometimes thrown under the bus for her faults.
Yeah.
Because really what she highlights for us is actually the more systemic problems throughout the game. Like, early on, she was the first indicator that we had a serious performance problem during Smite's early alpha days. Because when you would try to swap to her, you would have this big hitch and you wouldn't be able to actually like play your inputs. And a big problem for that was our network bandwidth. We were too high, had too many replicated calls coming down, and the client FPS was too low. So it couldn't process stuff fast enough. So like, she is really good about finding that stuff for her. I think she's also just a really hard character.
Yeah.
Like, so she inherits a lot of the bugs from other characters and tends to find ways to exacerbate them and prove like, hey, you weren't thinking and you did not consider this correctly. But like, I don't think we've ever thought about like getting rid of her entirely. Like, I think she is still a very fun character. I think people do like her.
Yeah.
We're definitely always looking to fix the bugs with her though.
Yes.
Like, if you have bugs with her, feel free to send them our way and like just post them in the forums and stuff that we have. I think the Smite Discord has some. Like, always feel free to bring them up. But we usually try to resolve and fix her when she comes up. I think we did ban her in esports just because it's just one of those things. She has so many intricacies that we're just like, it's just not worth the hassle.
Yeah. And I think that like we did fix a bunch of the esports specific issues recently. So
yes,
I mean, I think that like, you know, when we see those issues come up, we just fixed a bunch of them this
yeah like we're fixing stuff constantly, and like we are also still trying to find our bearings with the pipeline at times.
Mythology says she's not even that buggy anymore. See, we got she's fine. Yeah,
she's not that buggy. Like I know I did a pass on her like a couple patches back to like really try to address some of the feedback with it. So if there's still more stuff, like I would love to know. She's always one I want to look at.
How many unreleased gods are playable in our internal tests? 4 or 5? Probably.
Yeah, we got into that point. Like, I'll let you in on a little inside baseball. Back when we were doing Giannis, it was like 2. It was like 2, maybe 1.
Yeah.
So like we've been doing a lot of what you'll see with the upcoming schedule for the rest of the year as they start to release out is like we made some significant changes to the gods we were picking to better prioritize and be able to get ahead of this stuff. Because when we get some of the more easier to do gods on our plate, it frees up gameplay programming to start looking more into the bugs, which is how we fix a lot of the ones that esports brings up. And it also lets us just look at other game systems and also give the gods more attention that they deserve.
Yeah. No, I think that the gods are coming along really well. They feel really good to me. And if we do the playtest with 2 gods, will it spoil the god after Osiris? No, we won't have the coming soon set up, so you won't be able to see who's after Osiris. So.
Yeah. We make sure that like the gods that are going out don't get cooked, because we also don't want to increase your memory size on your computer. You know, we want you to have space.
Yep.
For all those little iTunes gifts that you keep.
I've seen this question asked a couple times by that one Pharaoh. How hard was it to do the season 10 recap? And would we all do a yearly recap of our Smite 2 season like we did with year 10? That was very difficult to do.
I have no idea what that is.
So there was basically you could go to a website and you could put in your username and you could get a custom video that showed off the things that you have done, right? It's kind of like Spotify Wrapped, but we called it Smitify Wrapped internally for a while.
We love those internal names.
Yeah, so we had a team of, I'm going to say there were at least 3 video or MoGraph people working on it internally for 3 or 4 months. Plus there was quite a bit of technical work hooking up like our database into this thing. And we were using an external like company that this is what they do. Like, and you know, like Call of Duty and other people use them, and they're pretty expensive to do as well. We thought it was like a really cool thing to do for year 10 as a special moment, but the amount of like investment that went into making that, it was a lot.
Yeah.
So
it involved, I remember like the programmers working on it at the time, and like it was, hats off to them, because I'm like, no way.
Yeah, it was
gnarly.
Yeah, and there was just setting it up even was very difficult to like pick the right things for each person and get all the data hooked up, and like you had to create like multiple versions of every video segment to include like all the different things that people could possibly get in that segment. Like it was very challenging.
Yeah, it was also using our old platform network on Smite 1, which by that point, like, for context, like we at some point just had to cut off updates to it, because we were still on that network for like Paladins and Rogue Company and stuff, but like Smite had to just cut ourselves off because we were so old that every time we received an update, it broke like 10 things. Yeah. So it was ancient.
It was old.
I saw one question. I forget who it was from, but it was like a question about the movement system and where it went wrong and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like that's one to touch on, where it's like, so the movement system was a thing that we realized pretty late in the game we messed up on. Like it was one of those things where we realized there was a fundamental pattern that we had just dropped the ball on, and it was causing a lot of issues internally to like get our systems to that point. And so we had a programmer, he had been working on it in the background, and then 2 of the other 3 programmers hopped on to help get that, and we got to a place where we were doing playtests and it felt really, really good. Mm-hmm. The problem is we're a team, we only have like 10 people playtesting, and we only playtest like once a day, you can't possibly account for all the scenarios that would come up. And so we did a lot of internal playtests on the system, and for the most part, they seemed good. Put it into PTS. PTS doesn't get nearly as many people as people would think.
Yeah, like relatively small audience. For PTS.
It's a relatively small audience,
and it's always been that case. Like even the glory days of Smite 1, it was maybe 100 people at most on a successful PTS.
On a good day. Like I think we've only ever had like 1 or 2 PTS that have been like, oh, that's a lot of people.
Yeah. Like new season PTSs sometimes would be would run out of server instance spaces, but normally it's really not very many people.
Yeah, and so we put the movement we work live, and inevitably stuff comes up, and that at that point it becomes a conversation between Alex, myself, and the rest of the programmers on like how much pain are we willing to handle right now. And with that movement rework, we determined that the pain was not worth the squeeze, like the juice.
The juice wasn't worth the squeeze.
Yeah, the juice wasn't worth the squeeze. So we brought it back internally and disabled it. But it's not dead.
No. It's more just like the remaining edge stuff was a little bit more to get back to than we were like, is it the best thing we could be spending time on right now when it's like an indefinite amount of time to clean up these last few things?
Yeah, right? and it will reemerge one day, and you'll see it, and it'll probably cause more issues at a certain point. But when it does, I just say be open-minded to it and understand that it'll take like a patch or two to like even out. But it is one of those things we are working on in the background to better improve. And that's part of the reason we change the God schedule constantly, is finding ways to eke out the time to do it.
Oh, this is a good question. What was the most worth juice that you have squeezed? So I guess the thing that was hard but worth it that we have done technically.
Ooh, that's a great...
What a wording, Pon says.
The juice that was most worth the squeeze.
Yeah.
I think it was the... Oh, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
I mean, we've gotten a lot of benefits out of the inventory system. Like the inventory system design has gone absolutely ham with.
And can you like describe the inventory system?
Yeah, so the inventory system is like your like equipment, all your player abilities, each item you get, if you're picking up wards in the jungle, stuff like that, droppables, all that stuff uses our equipment system, and so that allows designers to swap out abilities on their own. It allows them to equip them into different slots. Like at one point we had it so that the Fire Giant could give you a item that will let you transform into Fire Giant. And that was all stuff that design was able to do just via the equipment system. I think the ability system, like the gameplay ability system plugin and our modifications to it also were probably the best squeezed juice we've ever made.
I would totally agree with that. I think it's like made such a difference for design to be able to do so much and freed you guys up to do a little bit other more interesting stuff, right? Is the new God lobby getting added this OB? Fingers crossed. There's some polish that we still have to get in. I think we're relatively close, but it may or may not actually make the build. But it's close. I feel like if it's not this update, it's certainly the next update, but we'll find out in the next day or so.
I see that Dustbreaker brings up Mercury 3. We are aware that Mercury 3 is having significant problems.
And can you talk through like why or what?
Yeah, so Mercury 3 is suffering from right now because of what we refer to internally as like client-side prediction.
Okay.
Which basically means that you as Mercury, your client is moving ahead of the server slightly because...
Is it because he's so fast?
Yeah, because he's so fast and how the speed of light travels, server needs to wait like a little bit of time to get the information. So what we do is we allow your client to simulate and predict ahead of the server. And the problem that Mercury is having is he's just not doing this prediction correctly. So he's hitting players and his client thinks he's hitting the characters. But in reality, he's not. So he starts to spin, and then the server's like, "Whoa, buddy, you're too fast.
Okay,
you gotta slow down, and you're not supposed to be spinning." And
so it's really like the person that you think you hit wasn't there according to the server.
Yes, like it's all due to latency and rollback. And basically, what's supposed to happen is the client is supposed to only simulate up to a certain point. Mm-hmm. And if we allow it to simulate past the same point, we are supposed to have logic in place to say, hey, the saver came down and it told you you were a dummy. Yeah. And you need to roll yourself back and undo what you've just done. And Mercury right now, he's missing that portion of, hey, you're a dummy. You need to undo what you've done. And he's like basically thrown himself at this. Mm-hmm. He saw his spin and he's like, I'm just going to go and do what I want to do. It's on our list. We are actively looking at it, hopefully aiming to fix it within the next patch or two. It won't be for OB19 with Xbalanque, but like we are well aware that Mercury's AO3 is having issues, and it's one that we want to address.
This was a question specifically to me, which I will go on a little bit of a tangent with because chat loves my tangents. Kilgun question: what has working with programming taught you about programming? I don't even know if you know this. I minored in computer science in college, and I had several summer jobs while I was in college. I started out as a computer science major, and I had a couple summer jobs where I was writing web apps at that time in JSP and struts mostly. So very exciting stuff. And I realized that I had done some programming stuff like in high school. Like I was like, this is cool. I'm into it. But it got to a point in college where I was like, I love the problem solving of it, but it's not, my brain doesn't work in a way to be able to solve the truly hard programming problems. And despite putting a lot of effort into trying to do that, I was like, that's just not where my area of expertise is, you know? And so I changed majors and, minored in computer science. I still liked it. Right. And I think, but I think that like everybody should try programming at some point in their life, because I think that like it teaches you a way of thinking and approaching problems and working through things and like not getting frustrated and like trial and error and all this. That's like super useful for just how you approach things. And I think it also teaches you that like nothing is as easy to do as you think it is, right? Like if you are a new programmer and like you're trying to just literally do hello world, you're trying to get a program to print out the text hello world. Like the first time you're trying to do this as a programmer, you're going to spend like hours and be like, oh my God, why can I not get it to just say hello world? What's going wrong here? And like, I think that taking like, people always expect that things are easier than they are in the world.
Yes.
Right. And I think having just a little bit of context, especially this is 2025, like a lot of the world hinges on computer programming stuff. Like just having some context of like what it is and how it works, I think is like super useful to everybody as a human being. But yeah, dude, like the actual like raw like memory management stuff that you have to do in C++ and all that, I'm just like, dude, way beyond me. I can't do it. Like I had one like assembly class that I was able to get through and keep up with. And I was like, cool, I can do it. And that was just like anything that got beyond like a certain level of complexity, my brain just broke down.
It astounds me sometimes because I've talked with some people I talked to various people when I was in college, some mentors from the game industry, and like some of them are like so old school. Like they were there at the very beginning, and they could tell you like the assembly lines of how they did this for like the Atari and stuff, and like it's absolutely insane. Like if you ever look at like old console games where they were doing like scan lines, the amount of memory they would pack into these things, and like they could tell you like all this stuff.
It was crazy.
It was insane.
Pompon says my dad used to talk me through his punch card programs.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That's very nice. One of my favorite experiments, if you ever want to learn what it's like, is to have a kid try to write you instructions for how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and then just follow it to the letter.
Yeah.
And you'll just see all the ways it just fails.
Yes. There's all these little things you don't think about until you're actually trying to think through every single step that has to be taken.
Yep.
And yeah, it's a lot of fun to work through. Is there any lingo we use as devs that we don't use with the community? I mean, I think that like maybe something that some players maybe don't know is like we use terminology of in-hand and off-hand.
We also use like AO1 to AO4, which stands for like abilities 1 through 4.
But I think it's ability offhand 1, ability offhand 2.
Yes, ability off. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Because Smite 1's tech back in the day, Smite 1 started as a mod of Global Agenda.
Yeah.
And Global Agenda, if you guys never saw it, it was kind of like Destiny before Destiny. And it was basically like it was like a class-based sci-fi PvP plus MMO thing. And you either had your in-hand, which was your main attack, or you had your offhand, which was like your ability. And each class only had one ability equipped and one like weapon equipped. So your in-hand was your weapon and your offhand was your ability. And so when we transitioned it into Smite, it became like, oh, you have your multiple offhands, which are your abilities, and your in-hand is your basic attack. So yeah, that's like one weird nomenclature thing that we use.
Yeah, we also refer to aspects as talents.
Yeah,
because they were originally called talents.
Yeah.
We have a couple, like we use cues for VFX because we use the gameplay cue system. And we have various ones. We have a lot of cheat commands. I think those are probably the ones that like you'll see us say, "Do hook me up," or "Supersonic yourself."
Yeah. In the early days of Smite 1, the gold code was like, "Thanks, Obama." I think
it was called Obama.
Obama, yeah,
Obama, and then it had a little message saying thanks.
Any word on redoing Travelers like Guan Unicorn? I was not aware the price would go so high after it's over. Yeah, we are. We have more. Hopefully, in this update, I'll have some more to share about bringing old Travelers back, and how we're going to handle Travelers a little bit going forward. So fingers crossed, I'll have more of an update for that on Wednesday. But stay tuned. The speed command in Smite 1 was "gotta go fast."
It was. I shortened it to Supersonic to still maintain that legacy, but also be shorter.
Yep. Easier to type.
Yeah.
Can God Masteries auto-unlock when you reach that level? They definitely, technically could auto-unlock when you reach the level. We intentionally made it so that they don't auto-unlock because we wanted new players in particular to be aware that like they are mastering their gods and there are rewards and whatnot associated with them. In Smite 1, all of that was like super buried, and like it was very hard to even know that you could go to buy the mastery skins when you hit certain. You just had to kind of like learn it.
Yeah.
So the thought was letting people know that this is a thing that you're getting and go get the thing. I think that there's maybe some room for us to change that past a certain level. Or one thing that got brought up was if you have the Ultimate Edition where you just have them all, then it would be nice to just auto acquire.
Yeah, auto give you everything.
Once you buy an Ascension Pass, then have it be just auto give you the things, because it's like, well, you understand the thing, you engaged with it.
Yeah, it's that tricky balance though too, because we also want you to know that you got the thing.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite God kit?
There's been a couple that I've really vibed with. I think the one that has always flowed the best was Mulan's kit. I think her kit, like, it really had, especially when it first released, a lot of really cool synergy of like that mini game of just leveling up the abilities and stuff. Like the combo of 3 into the 2 and 1. I thought that was a really fun kit. Donza is one of my favorites.
You play a lot of Donza.
I play a lot of Donza, most to the chagrin of other playtesters, because they're like, "Why are there so many Donza clones coming after me?" But yeah, no, I like him. Donza, I like a lot. I like a lot of the ones that I wick on, mainly because I know what they do.
Yeah.
Turns out if you wick on them,
you
learn what they do. But in terms of gods that I don't wick on, Bologna is a really fun one. I like swapping weapons around with her.
Yep.
She's a really cool one.
She's very interesting. There was some other god that we tried to do that was like trying to be kind of like that, and anyway, she's a fun god.
Yeah. On the tech side, is there a god I dread working on other than Arthur? I mean, there's always the top 3, which is Cleona, Oloran, Arthur.
Okay. Does Baki Kujira fit in with Oloran? Because they do both have time dilation.
I'm going to be real. I don't consider Baki Kujira to be a time dilator.
Okay.
I think if we did Baki Kujira, we would just give him a different ability.
Okay. All right.
But he's I guess he falls into it.
Yeah.
But he's more like the child to Oloron.
Yeah, it's not quite as intense as Oloron's.
Yeah, I think he was also like speeding up or something.
Yeah.
Bake was after my time.
Bake was like I believe it's around him, and I want to say it like goes down the further away from him you are or something. So it was a it was a weird ability. He was fun though. I like Bake. A lot of people don't like. Bake.
He was fun. I think in terms of the ones I'm dreading looking at, like. Oh, it's tough. I mean, like
I hear people saying a big jump knock up. That could be fun. Okay.
Belly flop.
Yeah, just a little belly flop.
That'd be great.
Yeah, a little new animation, but it could be fun.
You see him like climb up like the dive board stairs and like belly flop down. I think it would probably be right now. It's probably the stance mesh swappers, like Fafnir style of like those. There's a lot that goes on with mesh swapping, and that's probably one of the areas I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a fun one.
Yep. Have we considered this? I've seen this question asked a few times. If you consider bringing Twitch skins over to Smite 2 and having them as drops, it's kind of the same amount of work to do any kind of skin, and the Twitch branded ones in particular. We would need to get Twitch's approval to do since it has their branding. We could probably get it done, but it's just kind of a question of like, what do our resources go towards? Like, theoretically, it's possible, but it's like, if we're going to make a skin as a drop, is it?
Do you want a Twitch skin or do you want different
something else? Right? One? Like,
yeah.
Make Bake ult a Mori ult, but it transforms permanently, so I don't have to play against him. Okay.
I at one point had the Morgan ult to the point where you could use it as on any character.
Okay.
That's how we transformed people into Fire Giant.
It's kind of fun. Fact. Did I see the UE5 render of the assault map on Reddit? And can we reach out to that individual to streamline implementing it? I'll say we did see it. I passed it along to the art team. They've seen it as well. I don't have any updates beyond that. I do know that like the person posted that this was like partially implemented in UE5, right? There was still a lot of stuff that needed to be done, but it was some of the material work had been done, and it parts of it definitely looked nice. So
yeah, it's one of those things too where it's like we see all the time, and we love honestly seeing it, where people go and they create Smite mechanics and just other engines and stuff. Mm-hmm. The caveat I always give to that though is you gotta remember they're not doing it in our engine.
Yeah,
like our vision of Unreal operates a specific way, and there's a lot of stuff that also goes into those mechanics that like there's a lot of ways to hard code stuff to enter, but if you want to make it versatile and support the entirety of a game, it becomes a lot more effort than people I think realize.
Yeah. I don't remember the plushie polls. So I think
that was ages ago.
Yeah, that probably would have been a Taylor thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know anything about those. So I'm sorry to not have an update for that.
Yeah.
Any pitched idea, I'm going to say from a technical perspective, that was immediately rejected, and you were just like, no way in hell we're going to do that.
Oh man. I don't know how many of those I can say though.
Okay, that's fair.
There's a lot of times where design will come up to me and be like, "Hey, we want to do this," and I have to say, "Are you out of your mind?" And typically a lot of it just comes down to time. Like when we were at the end of Smite 1, we had a lot of quote unquote free time on our hands to think of like new ways to like really dramatically change the game, which is why you saw some gods come out like Cleona, Oloron, Heimdall, and stuff like that. Like we really experiment those, but those we give like huge amounts of bandwidth. Like I think Cleona was worked on for months ahead of time for her release. Like normally it was like 2 months in Smite. Cleona was like 4, I think.
Yeah.
Double. And Oloron was like a multi-month process to get in. So typically when I have to reject one, it typically comes down to timelines of like, I can do it for this god that's way further out, but it's going to cost you this.
And I think we are trying to, not exactly, but like we are trying to make sure we're balancing between like harder gods and easier gods going forward. So like maybe some of these ultra hard ones don't make it in immediately, but like we are trying to make sure that there's a mix of like, you know, things that are hard for different
There
parts.
was one that I remember immediately shutting down, which was Hecate. They wanted her to have an ultimate, which was like a giant laser beam or something.
Oh, yeah.
That would carve paths through the geometry of conquest.
Yeah.
And I killed that so fast, it did not even live to see a blink a day.
Yeah, that would have been an interesting one.
It would have been an interesting one, but that was like, was one of those key examples where it's like, that was proposed right as we were starting up SMITE 2, and we had like none of the major systems like really solidified yet, and we were trying, and they pitched this like, which in SMITE 1 and even SMITE 2 now would still be a colossal, if not impossible, feature to do.
Yeah, I think that was what her. If chat remembers, she had an initial version that came out that everyone hated. That then we went back and redid into the current version, which people like, and that was one of the pitches for that original version of the alt that didn't make it in. So everybody said it just instead felt like Nike won. But I think that was a little bit of a harsh take. But
poor Nike.
Yeah.
Most winningest god in the game though in SMITE 1.
Most what?
Nike.
She's the what?
Most winningest.
Yeah, because of that passive.
Dude, that passive, sneaky.
I know, so good. Well, it is 2 p.m., which means it's time for one more question.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So thanks for joining today.
Yeah.
It's been a fun day just chatting with the community, answering questions. Tomorrow, or not tomorrow, on Wednesday, we will be back with your first look at Shibalanke's full kit in game, his aspect.
He's so stylish.
He's very stylish. We're going to see, fingers crossed, maybe some Osiris. We're going to see the next Saga skin. We're going to see a
new cosmetic.
The new cosmetic type, that's included in the Saga.
Yeah, we got new cosmetic coming out.
Yeah, there's a fun special traveler that doesn't have a skin. It just has some other fun stuff. So
I might know what these fun stuff are.
Lots of good stuff that we'll be going through on Wednesday. So please be sure, tune in on Wednesday for a really big show. And time to answer some last questions here. Let's
see. A new pantheon or god that's on my wish list. I've always wanted to do Robin Hood.
Really?
I've always wanted to do him. Like, he's like, ever since we did like King Arthur and Malin, I always wanted to do like those like kind of lore legendary characters. And like Robin Hood's like one of those like I was always fascinated with.
Yeah, that's cool.
And, like, there was a BBC show about Robin Hood. Very good. You should look it up.
Okay, I'll check it out.
It was very fun.
I'm just trying to think like what Robin Hood would even do. Like he would have a passive that like if he gets a shutdown, he gets bonus gold or something.
Yeah,
you gotta take from the rich and give to the poor.
He's just robbing and he gets to give gold to his allies.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems pretty good.
Send me your Robin Hood pictures. I love them.
Yeah. Man, I don't even know who's on. I have a lot of gods that I'm like that would be fun to do. Yeah, I don't know if I have like one that's just immediately coming to mind. I do think it would be fun to do like the very similarly like the American mythology pantheon, like Babe the Blue Ox and Paul Bunyan.
I know we've talked about doing like Native American pantheons before. We haven't pulled the trigger on any of them.
No,
but it's been a conversation we've had.
Johnny Appleseed, let me just plant apple trees everywhere.
Dude, yeah.
Feed people apples, just like I support Johnny Appleseed. Be great.
He doesn't fight at all. He just plants apple trees.
Yeah, that's it. I literally, you don't even have an attack. That'd be great.
Yeah.
All right, I got to pick a question. Let's see. I can answer this one, I think. Any possibility of music tracks from other Hi-Rez games like Paladins and Rogue Company coming to SMITE 2 as music packs? My understanding is that the answer to that is no, because SMITE music packs are built very specifically around the things that can happen in the match. And there's a number of different like segments of music that are needed. So you need like a cue for when a tower is falls. You need a cue for this and that. And the other music packs aren't built in the same way to have those things. Oh, Kellen says it would take some work, but I could actually make that happen. Okay, well, new task for Kellen, I guess. He needs to.
Kellen's gonna love that you signed him up for this.
No, it's a fun idea. I was thinking that it would not work because of the number of specific cues we would need. But I guess he'd probably like rework things that exist in those into those cues.
I mean, there is a problem that we did have with our announcer packs where we couldn't add new VGS voice lines specifically because it's like you have 100 announcer packs, so many different people. Yeah. How do you get lines for those?
Yeah. Awesome, chat. Well, thank you so much for watching today. Please be sure tune in on Wednesday for a really big shoe.
And join PTS. Try them out.
Yeah, try it out. And,
please find bugs.
Thanks for joining us today. Hopefully you had a good time.
I did. It was good.
All right. And with that, chat, thank you so much. And we'll see you on the battleground of the gods.
Goodbye. Bye.